In a desolate desert wasteland, where hope had long been abandoned and survival was the only instinct left, a lone figure stood tall. This figure was a man, weathered by the harsh elements and adorned with tattered clothing that barely clung to his hardened frame. He was known as the Wastelander, a name whispered in hushed tones among the few who dared to venture into these unforgiving lands. With a rifle slung over his back, the Wastelander's eyes scanned the horizon, searching for any sign of life amidst the barren expanse. His senses honed by years of navigating this unforgiving terrain, he could detect the faintest hint of movement or the subtlest change in the wind. The wasteland was his domain, and he knew it like the back of his calloused hand. Suddenly, a glimmer of movement caught his attention. His eyes narrowed as he focused on the distant silhouette of a figure, barely visible against the backdrop of the desolate landscape. The Wastelander's heart quickened, for he knew that in this world, strangers were rarely friends. Without hesitation, he unslung his rifle and brought it to bear. His fingers wrapped around the cold metal, the weight of it a familiar comfort. With a deep breath, he steadied himself, aligning the sights with the distant target. The wasteland was a place where survival often meant being the first to strike. The silence was broken by the resounding crack of the rifle. A muzzle flash erupted from the barrel, momentarily illuminating the surrounding desolation. The bullet soared through the air, cutting through the stillness like a vengeful spirit. Time seemed to slow as the projectile hurtled towards its intended destination. As the dust settled, the Wastelander's eyes never wavered from the spot he had aimed. His heart pounded in his chest as he slowly approached the figure lying motionless on the ground. With each step, the gravity of his actions weighed heavily upon him. But as he drew closer, his heart sank. The figure before him was not an enemy or a threat, but a mirage of his own making. A mere illusion conjured by the relentless heat and the desperation of solitude. The Wastelander's eyes filled with regret, for he had fired upon a ghost, a figment of his own fractured reality. Gently, he knelt beside the lifeless apparition, his hands trembling as he reached out to touch it. The emptiness of the wasteland echoed in his soul, a constant reminder of the harsh choices one must make to survive. The Wastelander had become a reflection of the world he inhabited, a desolate landscape where trust was scarce and compassion a luxury he could no longer afford. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the desolate wasteland, the Wastelander rose to his feet. His eyes, once filled with determination, now held a flicker of something else. Perhaps it was a glimmer of hope, a spark that refused to be extinguished amidst the darkness. With his rifle still slung over his shoulder, the Wastelander continued his journey through the unforgiving wasteland. The world may have taken its toll on him, but deep within his heart, a flame burned on, reminding him that even in the bleakest of landscapes, redemption and renewal were never truly out of reach.